Okay, guys. welcome. Okay, my computer is running slow as molasses today. I don't understand why. I'm so glad I paid for a gigabyte of data. But it's loading. So, Red Dragon dropped me the link of the affidavit. So much to talk about. I literally only read the first couple of pages because I didn't want to have to read it like 5 times with you guys. So I figure I'll do it all at one shot. Now, I know I don't have the greatest reading voice, but I hear I'm better than some of the others that are reading it. So, and I got Fluffer on my lap. Mickey, that whole thing was not true. I've been saying this for the longest time. That never happened. That was a rumor that somebody ran with that the cops said was not true. It's official? What's official? But this is like mind-blowing. I'm sorry, but Dylan is culpable. How do you not call 911? Hello? You see him, you heard it, and you don't call 911, you just go to bed? Yeah, that's not right. Sorry. Sorry, but no. If I would, oh my God. Maybe they could have survived if she would have called 911. Maybe they weren't dead on scene. I will, he's closed. I'm waiting for it to load. Nevada closed, KRK, Laura off topic. I knew that would happen. I don't know if he saw her, but she saw him. She described him and everything. But like East Coast said, I got to start from the beginning. I'm waiting for this to load. It's like slow as fuck loading. Come on. It's not even that big. I mean, it's big, but it's not like huge big. Yeah, they waited until 12 o'clock. 11:30, 12 o'clock to call 911. Come on. I don't know why it's taking so long to load. And by the way, the timeline is wrong. While this is loading, hang on a second. Oh my God, just load already. Did anyone else have a problem with the loading? Oh, that's why, because everyone tried to download it. Yeah, Noni, Dylan stayed frozen in a room, which is a bunch of nonsense. You call 911. Come on. Stonegator, what's the link that you used? Because mine is not coming right up. My cell phone, it was pointless. Now it's just stuck. Yeah, a shocked person cannot see clearly. Stonegator, what website? Noni, someone gave me the link. But trust me when I tell you, you don't want to download it right now. No, the link that Red posted is slow as molasses. All right, we're going to try a third link. All right, we got it. Thank you, Crystal. All right. All right, we're off. Crystal, you're a lifesaver. All right, can you guys see it okay? Is it cold out here? Not really. Can you guys see it? Okay. All right, perfect. All right, let's do this. The below information is provided by Brett Payne, who's a duly appointed, qualified, and acting peace officer with the County of Latah, State of Idaho. Brett Payne is employed by Moscow Police Department in the official capacity of position of corporal and has been a trained and qualified peace officer for approximately 4 years. CPL Payne is being assisted by members of the Idaho State Police and agents of the FBI. On November 13th, at approximately 4 p.m., Moscow Police Department, Sergeant Blaker and I responded to 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho. Here after the King Road residents to assist with some scene security and processing of a crime scene associated with 4 homicides. Upon arrival, the Idaho State Police forensic team was on scene and was preparing to begin processing the scene. MPD Officer Smith, one of the initial responding officers to the incident, advised that he would walk me through the scene. Officer Smith and I entered the King Road residence through the bottom floor door on the north side of the building. Officer Smith and I then walked upstairs to the second floor. Smith directed me down the hallway to the west bedroom on the second floor, which I later learned through Xana's driver's license and other personal belongings found in the room was Xana Kerndoodle, hereafter Kernnoodle room. Just before this room, there was a bathroom door on the south wall of the hallway. As I approached the room, I could see a body, later identified as Kernnoodle's, laying on the floor. Kernnoodle was deceased with wounds which appeared to have been caused by an edged weapon. Also in the room was a male, later identified as Ethan Chapin, hereafter Chapin. Chapin was also deceased with wounds later determined. Autopsy report. Something was cut. County Medical Examiner dated December 15th, 2022 to be caused by sharp force injuries. I'm very, very curious how he was cut, and that's why they redacted it. The only thing that I can, well, then again, if they cut off his, you know what, it would be, I think they would have said maybe that was sexual or something, but I don't know why they redacted his wounds. I then followed Officer Smith upstairs to the third floor of the residence. Third floor consisted of 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. The bedroom on the west side of the floor was later determined to be Kaylee Consalvis, hereafter Consalvis room. I later learned from Officer Nunn's body camera. There was a dog in the room when Moscow police officers initially responded. The dog belonged to Gonsalves and her ex-boyfriend, Jack D. I found out from my interview that Jack D. on November 13th that he and Gonsalves shared the dog. Smith then pointed out a small bathroom on the east side of the 3rd floor. This bathroom was shared wall with Madison Mogen here in Mogen's bedroom, which was situated on the southeast corner of the 3rd floor. As I entered this bedroom, I could see 2 females in the single bed in the room. Both Gonsalves and Mogen were deceased with visible stab wounds. I also later noticed what appeared to be a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed next to Mogen's right side when viewed from the door. The shelf was later processed and had K-Bar USMC and the United States Marine Corps Eagle Globe and anchor insignia stamped on the outside of it. The Idaho State Lab later located a single source of male DNA left on the button snap of the knife shelf. Now, let me say something about this, okay? Do you know how easy this is to beat in court? Why would there only be one set of fingerprints? What about the knife dealer? The knife dealer is going to have fingerprints. There's going to be another set of fingerprints, or I'm sorry, another set of DNA or something on a knife. You would have the killer's DNA. You would have the blood from your victims. How is there only one single source of DNA? That can easily be won in court, because you should have blood from them. You should, if there was that much blood in the room. So that's a little sketchy to me that there was only one single source of DNA. As part of the investigation, numerous interviews were conducted by Moscow PD, Idaho State PD, and FBI agents. And busted, I agree with you. He could have cleaned it, but I'm saying in a court of law, that's easy to beat. If I was on a jury, well, how's your DNA left, but the victims aren't? I don't know. It is a little weird. And not that it's a little weird. It's easy to beat, is what I'm saying. As part of the investigation, numerous interviews were conducted by MPD, Idaho, and FBI agents. Two of the interviews included BF and DM. Both BF and DM were inside the King Road residence at the time of the homicides and were 2 roommates to the victims. BF's bedroom was located on the east side of the 1st floor of the King Road residence. Based on numerous interviews conducted by MPD officers, ISP detectives, and FBI agents, as well as my review of evidence, I have learned the following. Now, busted, I agree that they probably have more, and I am going to keep reading. I'm just saying, going piece by piece, you know, he could have sold some kid the knife, and the kid wiped it off, but his DNA was still on it. That's what I mean. Hey, Bedwolf. And again, I'm just going piece by piece. On the evening of November 12, 2022, Chapin and Kernnoodle are seen by BF at the Sigma Chi house on the University of Idaho campus at 735 Nez Perce Drive from approximately 9 on November 12th to 1:45 a.m. on November 13th. I thought there was a time slot missing. BF also estimated that approximately 1:45 a.m., Chapin and Kernnoodle returned to the King Road residence. BF also stated that Chapin did not live in the King Road residence, but was a guest of Kernnoodle. It says single source of male DNA. It doesn't say there is no... Yeah, but when it says a single source of male DNA, it's saying that's all that's on there. There was no female DNA. It doesn't need to say it. A single source of male DNA implies that it's male DNA. If the knife came... No, it's a U.S. Marine Corps knife. So wouldn't it have come from the Marines? Hey, Patty. Wouldn't it come from the Marines? Or can you buy a I don't know if you can buy like a marine knife. I have no idea. One that actually says it with the emblem. Wouldn't that have to come from the Marines? Gonsalves and Mogan were at a local bar, The Corner, at 202 North Main Street in Moscow. Gonsalves and Mogan can be seen on video footage provided by the Corner Club between 10 p.m. on November 12th and 1:30 a.m. on November 13th. At approximately 1:30 a.m., Gonsalves and Mogan can be seen on video at a local food vendor called The Grub Truck at 318 South Main Street in downtown Moscow. Know what? You can't buy an official one on the street. The Grub Truck live streams video from their food truck on the streaming platform Twitch, which is available for public viewing on their website. The video was captured by law enforcement. A private party blank reported that he provided a ride to Gonsalves and Mogan at approximately 1:56 a.m. from downtown Moscow in front of the Grub Truck to the King Road residence. DM and BF both made statements during interviews that indicated the occupants of the King Road residence were at home by 2 a.m. and asleep or at least in their rooms by approximately 4 a.m. By the way, if you don't know DM and BF, it's Dylan and Bethany. This is with the exception of Kernoodle, who received a DoorDash order at the residence at approximately 4 a.m. Let me repeat that. Kernoodle, who received a DoorDash order at the residence at approximately 4 a.m. Law enforcement identified the DoorDash delivery driver who reported this information. You can buy them? I didn't know. All right. I mean, does it come from a factory or can you buy one just anywhere? Like, would it have DNA on it? Dylan stated she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the south side of the second floor. Dylan stated she was awoken at approximately 4 a.m. by what she stated sounded like Gonsalves playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms, which were located on the third floor. A short time later, Dylan said she heard who she thought was Gonsalves say something to the effect, "There's someone here." A review of records obtained from a forensic download of Kernoodle's phone showed that this could have also been when Kernoodle had her cell phone indicated she was likely awake and using TikTok at approximately 4:12 a.m. Is there a reason why you didn't call 911 at that point, Dylan? Dylan stated she looked out of her bedroom. She did not see anything when she heard the comment about being in the house. DM stated she opened her door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying coming from Kernoodle's room. DM then said she heard a male voice say something to the effect, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." At no point does she think to call 911 or even call Kaylee's phone and say, "Is everything okay?" Nah, that wouldn't be a normal thing to do. At approximately 4:17 a.m., a security camera located at 1112 King Road, a residence immediately to the northwest of 1122 King Road, picked up distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper, followed by a loud thud. A dog can be heard barking numerous times, starting at 4:17 a.m. Security cameras less than 50 feet from the west wall of Kernoodle's bedroom. Busted can. It blows your mind what I'm like, where I'm at, that this is mind blowing that she didn't call 911. Now, Dylan stated she opened her door for the third time and heard crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. And she still doesn't call 911. Hello? Dylan described the figure as 5'10" or taller male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. The male walked past DM as she stood in a frozen shock phase. The male walked towards the back sliding glass door. Dylan locked herself in a room after seeing the mail. Dylan did not state that she recognized the mail. This leads investigators to believe the murderer left the house. And she still never called 911. Instead, she went to bed. What in the fuck is wrong with her? And I'm sorry, I feel like they knew each other. I feel like her life was spared for a reason. And it wasn't because the killer didn't see her. Just my opinion. The combination of Dylan's statements to law enforcement, reviews of forensic downloads of records from BF and DM's phone. Dylan was on the same floor as Anna and Ethan, second floor, not the first floor, like the police reported. Experienced all she did and never called police. 8 hours passed till a 911 call. Exactly. Maybe they could have been saved. Maybe they didn't have to die. If I was any one of their families, I would personally beat the fuck out of Dylan. That's just me. I would beat her up. Maybe it wasn't too late, Eric. Maybe it wouldn't have been too late. Maybe they could have saved her. DM's phone, a video of a suspect video as described below leads investigators to believe the homicides occurred between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. During the processing of the crime scene, investigators found a latent shoe print. This was located during the second processing of the crime scene by the ISP forensic team by first using a presumptive blood test and then amino-black, a protein stain that detects the presence of cellular material. The detected shoe print showed a diamond-shaped pattern similar to the pattern of a Vans-type shoe sole just outside the door of DM's bedroom, located on second floor. This is consistent with DM's statement regarding the suspect's path of travel. I personally believe, and until I'm proven otherwise, I personally believe that Dylan was part of this. I really do. And she gave him plenty of time to get away. That's why she didn't call 911. So until there's proof otherwise, I'm sticking with that. As part of the investigation, an extensive search, commonly referred to in law as a video canvass, was conducted in the area of the King Road residence. This video canvass was to obtain any footage from the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022, an area of the King Road residents and surrounding neighborhoods in an effort to locate the suspect or suspect vehicles traveling to or leaving the King Road residence. This video canvas resulted in the collection of numerous surveillance videos in the area from both residential and business addresses. I have reviewed numerous videos that were collected and have had several conversations with the other MPD officers, ISP detectives, and FBI agents that are similarly reviewing footage that was obtained. There's no proof that she was in on it either. No, but I'm sorry. She should have called 911. Sorry. A review of camera footage indicated that a white sedan, hereinafter suspect vehicle 1, was observed traveling westbound in the 700 block of Indian Hills Drive in Moscow at approximately 3:26 a.m. and westbound on Steiner Avenue in Moscow at approximately 3:28. On this video, it appeared suspect vehicle was not displaying a front license plate. Okay, so this would have been before the murders, not after. A review of footage from multiple videos obtained from the King Road neighborhood showed multiple sightings of suspect vehicle 1 starting at 3:29 a.m. and ending at 4:20 a.m. Bye, love you. These sightings show suspect vehicle 1 makes an initial 3 passes at the 1122 King Road residence and then leave via Willenter Drive. Based off my experience as a patrol officer, this is a residential neighborhood with a very limited number of vehicles that travel in the area during the early morning hours. Upon review of the video, there are only a few cars that enter and exit this area during that time frame. Suspect vehicle 1 can be seen entering the area a 4th time at approximately 4:04 a.m. It can be seen driving eastbound on King Road, stopping and turning around in front of a 500 Queen number 52, and then driving back westward on King Road. When suspect vehicle 1 is in front of the King Road residence, it appeared to unsuccessfully attempt to park or turn around in the road. The vehicle then continued to the intersection of Queen Road and King Road, where it can be seen completing a 3-point turn and then driving eastbound again down Queen Road. Suspect 1 is next seen departing the area of the King Road residence at approximately 4:20 a.m. Okay, so if this happened, if the cops are saying this happened around this time, then 4chan is right, because 4chan said that it took 19 minutes. According to the police timeline, it's about right, 19 minutes. At a high rate of speed. Suspect vehicle 1 is next observed traveling southbound on Willenta Drive. Based on my knowledge of the area and view of camera footage, it does not show suspect vehicle 1 during that time frame. I believe suspect vehicle 1 his attorney asked, but judge denied. Victims' families in front row crying when names are read. Next status here in 1 week. Thank you, Busted Can. All right, so he was in court. He got no bail. Attorney asked, but judge denied. Victims' families in front row crying when names were read. Next status hearing is in 1 week. Thank you for the update. The neighborhood that show suspect vehicle 1 at a time frame, I believe, exited the neighborhood. Eventually, the roads lead to Pullman, Washington. Pullman, Washington is approximately 10 miles from Moscow, Idaho. Both Pullman and Moscow are small college towns and commonly travel back and forth. Law enforcement officers provided video footage of suspect vehicle 1 to forensic examiners with FBI and regularly utilized surveillance footage to identify the year, make, and model of an unknown vehicle that is observed by one or more cameras during the commission of a criminal offense. The forensic examiner has approximately 35 years law enforcement experience with 12 years at the FBI. His specific training includes identifying unique characteristics of vehicles, and he uses a database that gives visual clues of vehicles across states to identify differences between vehicles. After reviewing the numerous observations of suspect vehicle 1, the forensic examiner initially believed that suspect vehicle 1 was a 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra. Upon further review, he indicated it could be a 2011 to a 16 Hyundai Elantra. As a result, investigators have been reviewing information on persons in possession of a vehicle that is a 2011 to a 16 white Hyundai Elantra. Investigators were given access to video footage on the Washington State University campus located in Pullman, Washington. A review of that video indicated that at approximately 2:44 a.m. on November 13th, a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of the white Elantra known as suspect vehicle 1, was observed on WSU surveillance cameras traveling north on Southeast Nevada Street at Northeast Stadium Way. At approximately 2:53 a.m., a white sedan, which is consistent with the description of the white Elantra, known as suspect vehicle 1, was observed traveling southeast on Nevada Street in Pullman, Washington, towards SR 270. SR 270 connects Pullman, Washington to Moscow, Idaho. The camera footage from Pullman, Washington was provided to the same FBI forensic examiner. Forensic examiner identified the vehicle observed in Pullman, Washington as a 14 to 16 Elantra. At approximately 5:25 a.m., a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of suspect vehicle 1, was observed on 5 cameras in Pullman, Washington, and on WSU campus cameras. The first camera that recorded the white sedan was located at 1300 Johnson Road in Pullman. The white sedan was observed traveling northbound on Johnson Road. Johnson Road leads directly back to the White Palouse River Drive in Moscow, which intersects with the Kohnstoga Drive. The white sedan was then observed turning north on Bishop Boulevard and northwest on SR 270. At approximately 5:27 a.m., the white Elantra was observed on cameras traveling northbound on Stadium Way at Nevada Street, Stadium Way at Grimes Way, Stadium Drive at Wilson Road, and Stadium Way at Cougar. Depiction showing Moscow and Pullman. Right here to here to here. Pictures show white Elantra's path of travel. Oh, to be here. White Elantra seen leaving WSU campus, which is here. White Elantra seen returning to campus. Could be here. Oh, I'm sorry, here. They're both facing the same way, though. North Valley Road. Arrows of camera locations and indicate vehicle direction. Well, this don't make sense because they have this backwards. On November 25th, 2022, MPD asked law enforcement agencies to be on the lookout for a white Elantra in the area. November 29th at approximately 12:28 a.m., WSU police officer Daniel Tiengo queried white Elantras registered at WSU. As a result of that query, he located a 2015 white Elantra with a Pennsylvania license plate LFZ 8649. This vehicle was registered to Brian Kohberger, hereafter Kohberger, residing at 1630 NE Valley Road, apartment 201, Pullman, Washington. 1630 NE Valley Road is approximately 3/4 of a mile from the intersection of Stadium Way and Cougar Way, last camera location that picked up the white Elantra. That same day at approximately 12:58 a.m., Curtis Whitman was looking for the white Hyundai Elantra and located a 15 white Hyundai Elantra at 1630 Northeast Valley Road in Pullman in the parking lot. 1630 NE Valley Road is an apartment complex that houses WSU students. Officer Whitman also ran the car and it returned to Kohberger with a Washington tag. I reviewed Kohberger's Washington State driver's license information and photograph. This indicates that Kohberger is a white male with a height of 6 feet, weighs about 185. Additionally, the photograph of Kohberger shows that he has bushy eyebrows. Kohberger's physical description is consistent with the description of the male DM saw inside the King Road residence on November 13th. Further investigation, including a review of Latah County Sheriff's Deputy CPL Duke body camera report, showed that on August 21st, 2022, Brian Kohberger was detained as part of a traffic stop that occurred in Moscow by CPL Duke. At the time, Kohberger, who was the sole occupant, was driving a 2015 Hyundai Elantra with Pennsylvania plate LFZ 8649, which was set to expire on November 30th, 2022. During the stop, which was recorded via a law enforcement body camera, Kohberger provided his phone number as hereafter the 8458 phone as his cellular telephone number. Investigators conducted electronic database queries and learned that 8458 is a phone number issued by AT&T. On October 14th, 2022, Kohberger was detained as part of a traffic stop by a WSU police officer. Upon review of that body camera report of the stop, Kohberger was the sole occupant and was driving a white 2015 Hyundai Elantra with Pennsylvania plates LVZ 8649. On November 18, 2022, according to Washington State Licensing, Kohberger registered the 15 Elantra with Washington and later received Washington plate. Prior to this time, the 2015 white Elantra was registered in Pennsylvania, which does not require a front license plate to be displayed. This was learned through communication with a PA officer who's currently certified in the state of Pennsylvania. Okay, so Him changing plates had absolutely nothing to do with the crime. He had to do it because Washington requires a front plate and Pennsylvania does not. So him doing that had nothing to do with him changing it. Was actually what I said, that it could probably have something to do with the laws of Washington. No, I don't have something to drink. On November 18, prior to this time, based on my own experience and communication with Washington law enforcement, I know that Idaho and Washington require front and back license plates to be displayed. Ding, ding, ding. That's exactly what I said. Investigators believe that Kohberger is still driving the 2015 white Elantra because his vehicle was captured on December 13th of 2022 by a license plate reader in Loma, Colorado. Kohberger's Elantra was then queried on December 15th, 2022 by law enforcement in Hancock County, Indiana. On December 16th, 2022 at approximately 2:26, hey K-Rocks, surveillance video showed Kohberger's Elantra in Albright, Pennsylvania. The sole occupant of the vehicle was a white male whose description was consistent with Kohberger. Kohberger has family in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, learned through a TLO search and locate tool database query. Based on information provided on the WSU website, Kohberger is currently a PhD student in criminology at WSU. Pursuant to records provided by a member of the interview panel for Pullman PD, we learned that Kohberger's past education included undergrad degrees in psychology and cloud-based forensics. These records also showed Kohberger wrote an essay where he applied for an internship with the Pullman Police Department in the fall of 2022. Kohberger wrote in his essay he had interest in assisting rural law enforcement agencies with how to better collect and analyze technological data in public safety operations. Wow. Just fucking wow. Hey, Kurt. If you guys missed that, let me repeat that. He applied for an internship with the Pullman PD in the fall. Kohberger wrote in his essay he had interest in assisting rural law enforcement agencies with how to better collect and analyze technological data in public safety operations. Kohberger also posted a Reddit survey which can be found by an open source internet search. The survey asked for participants to provide information on understanding how emotions and psychological traits influence decision-making when committing a crime. As part of this investigation, law enforcement obtained search warrants to determine cellular devices that utilize cellular towers in close proximity to the King Road residence on November 13th between 3 and 5 a.m. After determining that Kohberger was associated to both the white Elantra and the 8458 phone, investigators reviewed the search warrant returns. A query of the 8458 phone in these returns did not show the 8458 phone utilizing cell phone towers resources in close proximity to the King Road residence. So he did not have a cell phone. He did not bring a cell phone. Based on my training experience and conversations with law enforcement officers that specialize in the utilization of cellular telephone records as part of investigations, individuals can either leave their cell phone at a different location before committing a crime or turn off their cell phone prior to going to a location to commit a crime. This is done by subjects in an effort to avoid alerting law enforcement that a cellular device associated with them was in a particular area when a crime was committed. I also know that on numerous occasions, subjects will surveil an area where they intend to commit a crime prior to the date of the crime. Depending on the circumstances, this could be done a few ways before or for several months prior to the commission of a crime. During these types of surveillance, it is possible that an individual will not leave their cellular telephone at a separate location or turn it off since they do not plan to commit the offense on that particular day. On December 23rd of 2022, I applied for and was granted a search warrant for historical phone records between November 12th and November 14th for 8458 phone held by the phone provider AT&T, approximately 24 hours preceding and following the time of the homicides. On December 23rd, pursuant to the search warrant, I received records for the 8458 phone from AT&T. These records indicated that 8458 phone is subscribed to Brian Kohberger at an address in Albright, Pennsylvania, and the account has been open since June of 2022. These records also included historical cell site location information for the 8458. After receiving this information, I consulted with the FBI special agent that is certified as a member of the Cellular Analysis Survey Team, CAST. Members of CAST are certified with the FBI to provide expert testimony in the field of historical CSLI and are required to pass extensive training that includes both written and practical examinations prior to being certified with CAST, as well as the completion of yearly certification requirements. Additionally, the FBI CAST SA that I consulted with has over 15 years of federal law enforcement experience, which includes 6 years with the FBI. From information provided, I was able to determine estimated locations for the 8458 phone from November 12th of 2022 to November 13th, the time period authorized by the court. On November 13th, 2022, at approximately 2:42 a.m., the 8458 phone was utilizing cellular resources that provide coverage to 1630 Northeast Valley Road, apartment G201, Pullman, Washington, hereafter the Kohberger residence. At approximately 2:47 a.m., the 8458 utilized cellular resources that provide coverage southeast of the Kohberger residence, consistent with the 8458 phone leaving the Kohberger residence and traveling through Pullman, Washington. This is consistent with the movement of the white Elantra. At approximately 2:47 a.m., so that just says that he had his phone in his car. Nobody else had his phone. At approximately 2:47 a.m., the 8458 phone stops reporting to the network, which is consistent with either the phone being in an area without cell coverage, the connection to the network is disabled, such as putting the phone in airplane mode, or that the phone is turned off. The 8458 phone does not report to the network again until approximately 4:48 a.m., at which time it's utilized cellular resources that provide coverage to ID State Highway 95 south of Moscow, ID near Blaine, Idaho, between 4:50 a.m. and 5:26 a.m. The phone utilizes cellular resources that are consistent with the 8458 phone traveling south on ID State Highway 95 to Genesee ID, then traveling west towards Uniontown ID, and then north back until Pullman, Washington. At approximately 5:30 a.m., the 8458 phone is utilizing resources that provide coverage to Pullman, Washington, and consistent with the phone being back at the residence. The 8458 phone's movements are consistent with the movements of the white Elantra that is observed traveling north on Stadium Drive at approximately 5:27 a.m. Based on a review of the 8458 phone's estimated locations and travel, the 8458's phone travel is consistent with that of the white Elantra. Okay, so in layman's terms, he turned the phone off at around 3 a.m., and the phone, according to this, has traveled consistently with the white Elantra. So basically, in a nutshell, the white Elantra is, he acted alone. No, he didn't. Nobody else took his phone or his car. Further review indicated the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources on November 13th that are consistent with the 8458 leaving the area Kohberger residence approximately 9 a.m. and traveling to Moscow, Idaho. Specifically, the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that would provide coverage to the King Road residence between 9:12 a.m. and 9:21 a.m. The 8458 phone next utilized cellular resources that are consistent with the 8458 phone, traveling back to the area of the Kohberger residence and arriving to the area at approximately 9:32. I don't get it. 10 miles, 10-15 minutes. I guess that's about right. Below is a depiction, not scale, of the possible route taken off seller site locations. Okay, there you go. Investigators found that 8458 did connect to a cell phone tower that provides service to Moscow on November 14th. But investigators do not believe that 8458 was in Moscow on that date. The 8458 has not connected to any towers that provide service to Moscow since that date. Now that's interesting. That's really interesting. He has not been back to Moscow since the killings. That's wild. Based on my training experience and the facts of the investigation thus far, I believe that Kohberger, the user of the 8458, was likely the driver of the white Elantra that is observed departing Pullman, Washington, and that the vehicle is likely suspect vehicle 1. Additionally, the route of travel of the 8458 phone during the early morning hours of November 13th and the lack of the 8458 phone reporting to AT&T between 2:47 a.m. and 4:48 a.m. is consistent with Kohberger attempting to conceal his location during a quadruple homicide that occurred at the King Road residence. On December 23, 2022, I was granted a search warrant for Kohberger's historical CSLI from June 23, 2022 to current prospective location information and a pen register trap and trace on the 8458 phone to aid in efforts and to determine if Kohberger stalked any of the victims in this case prior to the offense, conducted surveillance on the King Road residence, was in contact with any of the victims associated before or after the alleged offense, any locations that may contain evidence of the murders that occurred on November 13, 2022, the location of the white Elantra registered to Kohberger, as well as the location of Kohberger. On December 23, 2022, pursuant to that search warrant, I received historical records for the 8458 phone from AT&T from the time the account was open in June of 2022. After consulting with Cast SA, I was able to determine estimated locations for the 8458 phone from June 2022 to present, the time period authorized by the court. The records for the 8458 phone show the 8458 phone utilizing cellular resources that provide coverage to the area of the 1122 King Road on at least 12 occasions prior to November 13th. All of these occasions, except for one, occurred in the late evening and early morning hours of their respective days. So he went there 12 times, at least. One of these locations, on October 21st, 2022, the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources providing coverage to the King Road residence from approximately 10:34 p.m. to 11:35 p.m. At approximately 11:37 p.m., Kohberger was stopped by Latah County Sheriff's Deputy CPL Duke, as mentioned above. The 8548, I thought it was 8458. 8548 phone was utilizing, it is 8458, that's what I thought. 8458 phone was utilizing cellular resources consistent with the location of the traffic stop during this time frame. Further analysis of the cellular data provided showed the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources on November 13, 2022, consistent with the phone traveling from Pullman, Washington to Lewiston, Idaho, via U.S. Highway 195. At approximately 12:36 p.m., the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that would provide coverage to Kate's Cup of Joe coffee stand at 810 Port Drive, Clarkston, Washington. Surveillance footage from the U.S. Chef Store, located at 820 Port Drive, Clarkston, Washington, and adjacent to Kate's Cup of Joe, showed a white Elantra consistent with suspect vehicle 1 drive past Kate's Cup of Joe at a time consistent with the cellular data from the 8458 phone. At approximately, by the way, these errors can hurt them in court, by the way. The cop makes this error, that 8458, because 8548 is a different phone. This can actually hurt them in a court of law. At approximately 12:46 p.m., the 8458 phone then utilized cellular data in the area of the Albertsons grocery store at 400 Bridge Street in Clarkston, Washington. Surveillance footage obtained from the Albertsons showed Kohberger exit the white Elantra, consistent with suspect vehicle 1, at approximately 12:49 p.m. Interior surveillance cameras showed Kohberger walk through the store, purchase unknown items at the checkout, and leave at approximately 1:04 p.m. Kohberger's possible path of travel is depicted below, not to scale. The roommate opened the door 3 times. I totally agree. Additional analysis of records for the 8458 phone indicated that between approximately 5:32 p.m. and 5:36 p.m., the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that provide coverage to Johnson, Idaho. The 8458 phone then stops reporting to the network at approximately 5:36 to 8:30. That is consistent with the 8458 phone being the area that the 8458 phone traveled in the hours immediately following the suspected time the homicides occurred. On December 27, 2022, Pennsylvania agents recovered the trash from the Kohberger family residence located in Pennsylvania. That evidence was sent to the Idaho State Lab for testing. On December 28, 2022, the Idaho State Lab reported that a DNA profile obtained from the trash of the DNA profile and the DNA profile obtained from the sheath identified a male as not being excluded as the biological father of suspected profile. Hold on. DNA profile obtained from the trash and the DNA profile obtained from the sheath identified a male as not being excluded as the biological father of the suspect profile. At least 99.9998% of the male population would be expected to be excluded from the possibility of being the suspect's biological father. Based on the above information, I am requesting an arrest warrant be issued for Bryan C. Kohberger, date of birth 11/21/1994. Notice his birthday, guys. More ones, 2 plus 1. His birthday is the exact numbers of the King House. 1122, 1121 is his birthday. You still going to tell me numbers don't play a part of this case? It absolutely does. Maybe that's how they got targeted. 1121 and 1122, 1112. It very well could be how they got targeted. I know the cops aren't going to look at numerology, but I've been saying this from day one. Four counts of murder in the first degree for the murders of Madison Mogan, Kaylee Consalves, Xana Kernnoodle, and Ethan Chapin. I declare the penalty of perjury pursuant to the law of the state of Idaho that the foregoing is true and correct. 11/29/2022. Poof! 18 pages completed. His apartment was 201. I'm telling you guys, I don't know that much about numerology to explain it all, but somehow numerology played a big part of this. Too many numbers are close. There's too many 1s and 2s and 3s. But it's the first thing I thought of. His birthday is 11/21. You're welcome, Joy. His birthday is 11/21. The apartment was 11/22. 11/22. It's just weird. Well, did I do a great job? Because that was a lot to read. Jeez. Numbers totally play into your life. It's already proven. But I think that is what targeted them or something. It's just too coincidental. 1121 and 1122 and all the other 11s and 1s and 2s and 3s, and his apartment was 301, and I don't know. What does the 157 mean? Thank you, Crystal. Janice, sorry, you have to rewind. I'm not going to repeat it. I just read 18 straight pages. But I don't know. The cops aren't going to look at it like that, but I'm telling you, there's something to that. The 1-1, Patty, I don't know if you've followed me on this case from the beginning, but I've been saying numerology has a big part of this. There's too many 1-1, 2-2, and 3s. There's just too many. You know, and then I think maybe he only meant to kill 3. If he killed all 6, it would throw off his numbers. I don't know. Dylan, I'm telling you, Dylan's part of this somehow. How dare you, Phil? You didn't want to hear my beautiful reading? Did they explain the 911 call or anything surrounding that? Oh, yeah. Oh, no. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, Patty, I've been saying from the beginning that numerology, too many numbers fall into place here. To know that his birthday is 11/21 is even weirder. 12/29. Yeah, but that really does. The 12/29 doesn't mean much. Oh, really, Busted? All right, hold on. Oh, you sent to my email. Hold on. Why is my computer so fucking slow? My God. The fuck am I paying them for? Alright. Where'd you send it? Which email did you send it to? I just checked both emails. I don't see anything. What email did you send it to, hon? I just checked both. I don't see it. The Dylan portion is very shocking. I'm going to go back to it. He did, Patricia, Patty, but it turns out that so did John Wayne Gacy. That's something John Wayne Gacy did. John Wayne Gacy asked the same thing when he was arrested. Yeah, that should have come up to... Hold on. I don't have it, Busted. Let me check spam. I don't have it. I got 20,000 other emails. Send it to, send it to energycandles.com. Or try sending it straight to PURPLEXEDQT@gmail.com. Try that one. Try PURPLEXEDQT@gmail.com. No, there's nothing about running water. Alright. Here I go. Now I got it. Okay, PhD Catherine. Ooh. Interesting. So, the professor wrote a deadly number. Mental illness can interject unintended meaning into mythologized numbers. It's February, Friday the 13th, and I'm writing an article for Serial Killer Quarterly about a bizarre case from the early 70s in California that featured 13 in several ways. A series of murders in Santa Cruz came to an end on this date in 1973, and the motive for them was among the most bizarre I've ever heard. See? I told you guys I wasn't fucking crazy. Open. All right. See, you guys need to doubt me less. Jeez. On October 13, 72, Mullen clubbed a man with a baseball bat. He stabbed the next person, a female hitchhiker, and then entered a confessional on All Souls Day and killed a priest. The light over the confessional was the telepathic signal. Each person who died, Mullen believed, protected millions of others. He tried to enlist in the military so he could kill legally. Failing this, he went on to a vengeful search for the man who'd first given him marijuana. On this day, he murdered 5 people, including a mother and 2 children who were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Not long afterward, he massacred 4 teenagers camping in a state park. His final victim was a man outside gardening. When asked why he did all these things, Mullen said, "A rock doesn't make a decision while falling, it just falls." Okay. In court, he expected to defend himself because he was certain he could convince a jury that his actions had been the right thing to do. He hoped to demonstrate how he'd saved them, all by preventing a great earthquake. In fact, he could show that murders throughout history had achieved the same result. He had complex charts proving it all. Psychiatrists learned that Mullen's obsession with the number 13 referred to the biblical story of Jonah, his version. Mullen described how Jonah had been in a boat with 12 other men when a deadly storm arrived. Jonah had realized that if someone didn't jump from the boat, they'd all die. So he went overboard. Just because some whale came along and saved him didn't negate the righteousness of his intent. The jurors didn't side with Mullen. They convicted him and sent him to prison. Even this did not erase his belief that he'd done the right thing. You love it, JB is streaming the court appearance. Oh, is he? Well, we know we got to go there. And honestly, I'm so tired of reading.
Excuse me. Yes, Mr. and Ms. Laramie, Mr. Mogan, Ms. Cheeley, and then a number of members of the Gonsalves family. Those specific names will certainly be provided to you, Mr. Kohberger, by way of being provided notice of these documents. You'll get a copy of these no contact orders. What you do need to be advised of, and what will be in this no contact order, is you are prohibited from having any contact with them whatsoever. You cannot contact them through third person, in writing, or by any electronic means. You cannot Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, use the phone to communicate with them, or otherwise any form of communication in direct or indirect.
Hashtag hey Josh, hashtag hey Robert. Robert, that we just had.
You will always see that, but I mean, it's important to remember that in the statutes of law, you're looking for a beyond reasonable doubt,
right?
And that doesn't mean 100% sure. That means north of 95% sure of what happened here.
And Caden also brings up, go ahead.
Oh, no,
I was going to say, Caden brings up a good point too, in terms of evidence in itself. There is no murder weapon as of now. I mean, that's right. What obviously they ultimately want to find. If they can find that knife and figure out where that is and run it for prints and this and that, I mean, then you're changing the game in a big way.
With these kids that anyone knows of prior to November 13, 2022 on all of these occasions, except for one, occurred in the late evening and early morning hours of their respective days. Now, let's I'm gonna kind of put on my attorney hat here for just a second, because we don't know the size of the coverage area. Because one of the things, Ashley Banfield had an exclusive last night on some of the details, and one of the things that according to Banfield's law enforcement sources, again, she had this on News Nation last night, she said that law enforcement sources tell her.
Now, let me just say this. If he turns out to be crazy, like crazy, if he turns out to be psychologically insane, this is how he planned it out. 1122 matched his birthday. He targeted King Street because he's a king. I'm trying to get in the mind of someone wacky or someone like him, and I kind of feel like that's going to come out as have something to do with it if he turns out to be fucking insane. And they said he was extremely smart, but I wonder if that is what he's thinking. Like, if anything like that is, because that's how I think. That's how I would be thinking. If I got inside the mind of a crazy person with the numerology and the 1122, I don't know. It's kind of possible that he targeted King Street because he is king. His address adds up to 666. There you go. But he may turn out to none of this, may not have anything to do with anything. But I don't know. It just, if I was to get in the mind of a crazy person, I would. That's how I would see it.
That BRYAN Kohberger, and I'm going to bring this up from my Twitter because I tweeted this out. I want to make sure I read this here correctly. That the shopping is better in Idaho. That was something that he said while in custody, again, according to law enforcement sources speaking to Banfield. So we don't know. Now, they say that the cellular activity was tracked to the area of King Road on at least 12 occasions, but is there a shopping plaza located, not too far away that's within the coverage area where those pings were hit?
The Albertsons.
Thank you, JB. Thank you.
We don't know the size of the ping area.
Right. You know, and I'm actually like right at that shopping area right now, which is where our hotel is, and the home is less than a mile away. This is a small town. This is very consolidated area.
Guys, that's pretty huge. That is pretty huge. That the shopping is right in the same cellular area. He said he went shopping there. It's possible. These are, and I'm not saying it's likely. I'm saying these are things that could get him potentially off.
Area. So I mean,
Is that the Albertsons from the document that they pinged him at?
That's I think that's a different one.
Okay, I'm trying to find it.
Yeah, but I mean, you can drive through downtown Moscow in 4 minutes. Here.
YouTube Live, you're coming up next.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, a defense attorney could I mean, perhaps I'm wondering here aloud could point to, oh, well, this is where he went shopping. We just don't know if the ping is really tight on top of the Kings Road residence where the crime scene is. Then of course that gives a lot of power to the prosecutors who are going to be prosecuting this case. But if it's a large area, if that cellular triangulation occurs over really a lot of Moscow, then it's not as helpful. But it is interesting. It is interesting that there was this repeated trip back and forth,
right.
Again, 12 times, and they were always around the same time of day, late evening and early morning hours. That goes back to the question that we had here. Is there any pre-existing relationship that exists between the suspect and between the victims or one of the two roommates inside of the home? This has been a key question from day one, Robert.
And
Tommy, I disagree with you. The shelf, it means nothing. The knife could have been stolen. There's so many avenues a defense team could take for that knife shelf. That really doesn't mean as much as you think it does.
At this point, we don't have a firm answer. I mean,
I know that there are still a couple of burning questions that we all have here. Yes, this has shed a lot of light on what happened here, but it's always the unknown that is going to be dominating the conversation. And that is still one of the big unknowns, is why these people. And we just looking at the number of pings with these towers over the 12 months preceding, the 12 instances being in that area in the months preceding. But it seems so that you're getting into a more of a premeditated territory. But I mean, still lot of question marks here as to exactly why these people, why did this happen? I will tell you this, though, is that if you look at the layout of this area, I mean, it's just a little bit off campus. And the road that this is on, it's pretty tucked away. You almost saw it there just a second. But I mean, this home, this road kind of goes up a side of the hill, and it kind of gets off the beaten path. And I mean, you look around, it is tucked away. I mean, it's like
Robert, I'm going to hop in here for a second because a replay feed of Kohberger's court appearance has just come in. Let's listen.
I have court-appointed counsel.
Court has reviewed your application for attorney at public expense. I do find that you are indigent and do qualify for court-appointed counsel. I will appoint Ms. Taylor to represent you in this case. Ms. Preliminary hearing and setting this matter.
Your Honor, I have, we would ask the court to set a status hearing in a week or two to make a final determination.
Okay. And Mr. Thompson, Ms. Jennings are in agreement with that.
That's fine with the state, Your Honor.
We're audience watching live. This is a
I will go
replay.
ahead and set this matter for a status hearing then on the calendar on January 12th at 10 o'clock a.m. We will make sure notice is sent, and then Ms. Taylor, do you wish to argue bail at this time?
Your Honor, I would like to ask the court to consider setting a bond. Mr. Kohberger right now is on a no bond hold, but it's a limited request as I don't have enough information. We are new to the case. We haven't reviewed very much in the way of information about the case, and we have just begun our own work on the case. But we would want the court to know that Mr. Kohberger has a good family that stands behind him.
And Mr. Thompson.
You know, the state's position is that Mr. Culpable is not entitled to bond in this case. We can take charges, as is noted on the arrest warrant itself. Under Code 19-816, 19-2903 both specify that given the potential penalties in this case, there's no right to bail. The defendant was arrested 3,000 miles away across the country, where his family is. We do ask that he remain in custody. No bail.
At this point in time, pursuant to Idaho Criminal Rule 46B and Idaho Code 19-816 and 2903, I am going to leave the bail set of this case as no bail at this point in time until I have additional or further information at a later date and time. So with that, then Mr. Kohberger, you will be remanded in custody and remain in custody on the no bail pending further proceedings in this matter. Is there anything further in the case then for today, Mr. Thompson?
Yes, Your Honor. The state is asking for no contact orders for various family members of the deceased and also for the surviving roommates. I've spoken briefly with Ms. Taylor. She indicated there's no objection.
Ms. Taylor, is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
So I will go ahead and issue those no contact orders. So I do have a no contact order then for the named individual of Dylan Mortensen, Bethany Funk, as well as the family members and Mr. Chapin, the family members of Ms. Kernodle, excuse me. Yes, Mr. and Ms. Laramie, Mr. Mogan, Ms. Cheeley, and then a number of members of the Gonsalves family. Those specific names will certainly be provided to you, Mr. Kohberger, by way of being provided notice of these documents. You'll get a copy of these no contact orders. What you do need to be advised of and what will be in this no contact order is you are prohibited from having any contact with them whatsoever. You cannot contact them through a third person in writing or by any electronic means. You cannot Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, use the phone to communicate with them or otherwise any form of communication in direct or indirectly with them. You cannot engage in any conduct that would harass, stalk, threaten, use, attempt to use, or threaten to use any physical force or violence upon them or place them in reasonable fear of bodily injury. Cannot go within or knowingly remain within 300 feet of their person or their home, workplace, or any other place where they might be. There are no exceptions to these orders, and if you do violate these orders, it is a new misdemeanor offense. It is punishable by up to a year in jail and or a $1,000 fine or both. At this point in time, due to being in the magistrate's division here, at this juncture, I am going to issue the no contact orders for a period of 2 years, and then if it needs to be modified or changed by additional judge, it can be done so at that time. Is there anything further, Mr. Thompson?
No, Your Honor.
Anything further, Ms. Taylor?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. We are adjourned.
Alright guys, check this out. Don't think I'm crazy. I'm just using some critical thinking here. And I don't know why this hit me while I was watching this. We have no video of him actually. There's no proof. There's no murder weapon. All they have is circumstantial evidence for the most part. Yeah, they may have some DNA, but their DNA is weak. What if this is all a setup? What if he is so obsessed? Just hear this out. What if he is so obsessed with crime that he actually hired somebody and set all this up just to go through the process to get an inside way of thinking, but knows he's going to get exonerated because he did not do this? Think about that. I know it sounds crazy, but seriously think about it. They don't have enough on him per se. Like, the knife could be anything. Like, the knife stealth could be anybody. It has one single male DNA. Okay, could have given someone the knife. And I think that's why they were talking about the Brady last night. Because the Brady law would stop them from being able to point the finger at someone else. Exactly, like how fucked up would it be? But if you really think about it. Now, I'm not saying that is the case. I'm saying that, I don't know. I don't know. I just keep thinking about it. How easy would it be for him to take for him to give someone his phone or his knife? And I really do wonder. Well, Brandy, the thing is, if they bring the Brady rule into it, they're not going to be able to do what I'm thinking. But again, you have 12 jurors. You just got to convince one that maybe this was a setup, if his defense team goes that way. I think if Dylan was male, she would have been arrested. I know, right? You know, and then I think to myself, okay, why? Why would he do this? But at the same time, why would he kill? Why would he just kill 4 people? I don't know. I don't know. That's what I'm saying, Busted Can. That's what makes me think, like, I don't know. Maybe this was his way of learning what it's really like from the inside. And knowing he didn't do it. I think they have DNA data before and after murders. It's just the victim side of evidence. Others digging through his house, phone. I don't know, Crystal. I mean, I know what you're saying, but I don't know. That's what Pink Butterfly, I know. No, she's way worse than Sammy. All right, let me go through the Dylan stuff again real quick. I don't know. At this point, from what we know, his defense team is solid. He's got a good defense if he can prove it, and if they don't bring in the Brady law. If they bring in the Brady law, he's screwed. Because the Brady law will prevent them from being able to do what I'm saying. Oh, Crystal, I'm not saying he's not guilty. I'm saying from a defendant perspective. Because remember, Crystal, it's not a matter of what you think. It's a matter of what you can prove. And I'm looking at it from a point of what can they prove, not what I personally think. He was studying criminology. Okay. Okay. Dylan Dylan stated she originally went to sleep in a bedroom on the south side of the second floor. Dylan stated she was awoken at approximately 4 a.m. by what she stated sounded like Consalvis playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms, which were located on the third floor. A short time later, Dylan said she heard who she thought was Consalvis say something to the effect of, "There's someone here." A review of records obtained from a forensic download of Kernoodle's phone showed this could have been Kernoodle, as her cellular phone indicated she was likely awake and using the TikTok app at approximately 4:12 a.m. DM stated she looked out of her bedroom and did not see anything when she heard the comment about being in the house. Dylan stated she opened her door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying coming from Kernoodle's room. Dylan then said she heard a male voice say something to the effect, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." At approximately 4:17 a.m., a security camera located at 112 King Road, residents of immediately 1112 King Road, picked up distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper followed by a loud thud. Dog can be heard barking numerous times starting at 4:17. Dylan stated she opened a door for the third time, and she heard the crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. Dylan described the figure as 5'10" or taller male, not very muscular but athletically built, with bushy eyebrows. The male walked past Dylan as she stood in a frozen shock phase. The male walked towards the back sliding glass door. DM locked herself in a room after seeing the male. DM did not state she recognized the male. This leads investigators to believe the murderer left the scene. Give me a fucking break. This story has changed so many times. I don't know why the police did that. It's weird though, she's a public defender, yet she went to the house with 3 investigators to do crime scene reconstruction. Typical of a public... It depends on the public defender. If she's new and she just wants to make her mark, it's possible. Yeah, that's the Dylan stuff. Dylan certainly gave him a long time to get away. Don't call the police. Just go back to bed. That's what most people do. They just go back to bed when a masked man comes towards them. I think they're covering whatever they were a part of. Oh, absolutely. There's only a few death penalty public defenders qualified in that state. She's one of a few. Thank you, Sammy. I didn't know that. So Dylan, no, we know Dylan didn't call the, oh yeah, then, no, Dylan never called the police. She never even woke up Bethany. She just watched the masked man walk past her. And when she knew he left, never went upstairs to check on her friends, check on her roommates, nothing. Just stayed downstairs with the door locked and went back to sleep. I agree, Janessa. I mean, do I personally think he's guilty? Yeah, I do. But I also tend to think, it's allegedly one of the roommates did, hours later. Like, would have been 6 hours later. Hey, Connie. Yeah, this is total bullshit. Total bullshit. Dylan was in, yes, Dylan wasn't even on the first floor. Dylan was in the other second floor bedroom. So the killer killed 4 people but decided to spare Dylan's life for no reason? Come on. I don't believe that. I just don't believe that. Further to your point, Kohberger wrote in his essay he had interesting in assisting rural law enforcement agencies with how to conduct better. Yeah, I'm telling you, I wonder if, I don't know. Not that we know of. Oh, I don't know. I don't think we know much about Dylan's family. Yeah, she came face to face with him, but he spared her life. Oh, okay. You just wanted to kill 4 others, but you decided to leave one that actually saw you. And you leave her alive to, you know, maybe to locate you. Come on, that's bullshit. And if we think like that, the cops have to think like that too. The cops have to be saying that's bullshit. Dylan didn't text anyone, didn't call anyone, went back to watching TikTok and fell asleep. Crystal, a masked man is leaving your house. You saw him. You think you heard crying. How the fuck do you not call the police? I don't get it. And on the flip side, why did he leave her alive? Why did he leave her alive? Her dad makes public posts weird. Something's not right here. She would have been better off saying she never saw him. Sammy, that's what I'm saying. Why wouldn't you call 911 or at least call your roommate's phones and be like, hey, are you okay? He could have been leaving Dylan's bed, maybe. Exactly, and put you in a shock phase. Could she have been behind a cracked... I don't know. Could have, but she still says open the door. No, the dog... She didn't say she heard the dog barking. I mean, I have to read it again, but I'm pretty sure that that came from the cameras. And someone correct me if I'm wrong. I can't read this again. But I'm pretty sure that came from the camera. The dog barking was heard on the cameras. Not, she didn't report it. Anyone would have called 911. As soon as someone said there's someone here, you call 911. These are not 10-year-olds. These are 20-something-year-olds. You call 911. Find out who the hell's in your house. Hang on, Truth. Oh, I don't have any way to drop a link. I'm not on, I'm using StreamYards. I mean, not StreamYards. I mean, I could set something up. Hold on. Here you go, Truth. I'm not using Zoom. I'm not using any camera. Yo. Yo. Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can. What up? Okay, I heard you for a minute and then you disappeared. Was the Maddie's room right about the second floor bedroom? Yes. Tracy, come back. We lost Tracy. I'm telling you, I don't trust her. What up?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can.
I can't hear you. I don't even think I'm in the right StreamYard.
Why can't you hear me? Oh, I know why. Alright, now you can hear me.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yep, I forgot to add myself to the stream.
Oh, I was like, man, I don't even think I'm in the right StreamYard. Okay, first of all, you're not going to like my opinion, but that's cool. We also read in the affidavit where one of the surviving roommates claims that she heard Amel's voice saying, don't worry, I'm going to take care of you, or I'm going to help you, or whatever. Now, let's assume that she was probably drinking. It was a weekend, right? And she hears this male voice comforting the girl that she hears crying. So she doesn't really see any big deal in this.
Tracy, she sees a masked man coming towards her. She heard her roommate screaming. How the fuck do you not call 911?
Where did you hear she heard her roommate screaming?
It's in the affidavit. It says crying, not screaming, crying.
Nothing about screaming. Nothing about
Not screaming, crying. But she had to hear her crying.
Okay.
She even heard her say, he's here. There's someone here. You call 911 as a fucking roommate.
But Laura, you're talking about a house where people went in and out constantly. As far as the mask goes, you're talking about winter in Idaho. Do you know how many people wear face masks?
But Tracy, you call 911 just to be sure.
I'm just not ready to judge this girl, or I'm not ready to judge either. I mean, I gotta be honest with you. If I was on a grand jury, yes, I would have indicted BRYAN.
I agree.
But as far as judging these two surviving roommates, I'm just not ready to do that yet, because, you know, you're talking about a party house where police have responded to that none of the owners were ever even in.
Wait, hold on. I gotta let the dog out. Hold on. You can keep talking. I just gotta let the dog out.
I mean, look what happened in the Kylie Rodney case. Look what happened. I'm just not ready to put these two people on the chopping block yet, you know? I can't do that.
Thank you, Mama Bear. Let me flip this. Why did he keep her alive? If she's so innocent, why did he keep her alive?
Okay, well, first of all, we don't know what his motive was. The police have yet, I should say, have yet to put a motive together. You know, he could have specifically been going after someone. In my opinion, the blondes.
Why? Why would you think the blondes?
6 months down the road, they might have had an encounter at let's say, a pool party or some other event, and they treated him badly. And he hung on to that, you know, and it built and it built and it built. I mean, his family are victims too, but there's some odd characters in his family.
Why do you say that?
Well, okay, number one, his sister did a slash film, a low budget slash movie.
Okay, why does anybody think that's relevant? His sister did a movie in 2013. What does that have to do with him?
I'm not saying that it is relevant. I'm not saying it has anything to do at all with these crimes. But his mother also wrote about Ted Bundy. So obviously, murder and mystery and all of that is something that his family was very interested in, which, hey, so is mine.
I was going to say, so is mine. You guys hear my daughter? She all into serial killers. So is Dayton. Phoenix isn't. But
and I'm not saying that any of that is connected. None of it. But I'm saying to sit up here and to say, well, there is just no way this roommate couldn't have heard this or should have done this or should have done that. Would I like to hear from the roommates? I sure would. Are we going to have to wait until there's a trial? If there's a trial, probably so.
Hold on, someone just brought up a good point. You're saying there's odd character in his family, but you can't judge the roommate?
I don't know the roommate's family. They haven't been put on. And I'm not accusing his family of being involved in this at all.
Would it have been different if she was in a porn movie?
Yeah.
Why?
There was no sexual assault. There was nothing sexual about this crime.
Maybe not. We don't know what was redacted from Ethan. For some reason, they redacted his wounds, and I wonder why. They showed, multiple stab wounds, but they redacted Ethan's wounds.
I did hear a rumor, and it's just a rumor, where BRYAN took a body part with him. Now, did he cut off Ethan's manly? I don't know.
See, that's what I thought.
It's only speculation. It's only a rumor. I just don't want to see these two surviving people. I don't want this to turn into another Kylie Rodney case. Because, to be honest with you, that turned out to be nothing more than a drunken accident.
Maybe.
Well, we could sit here and say maybe until the cows come home. And I know that's all you're doing. You're just speculating like everybody else is. But when everybody, do I understand why 911 wouldn't get called for 9 hours? The only thing I can think of is they didn't feel the need to call 911. They went back to bed, and that's when they woke up.
No, because remember, she was scared. She was so scared that she stayed in a frozen state in her room. So she knew something wasn't wrong. She knew that something was wrong. So not call 911 is fucking weird. But I do want to say something back to Ethan for a second. The only thing because that was my first thought too, that it was something like they cut off his dick or something like that. But then I realized, wouldn't that be considered sexual in a court of law? By the police. Wouldn't that make it sexual if they did something to his winky?
Mutilation, maybe, but, I don't know. I'm still under the impression that, is it Casey? Is that her name, Casey?
Kaylee.
Kaylee got the more graphic wounds. And I'm only going by what her father spilt, a week or so ago, because when he got the autopsy report. Now, did he get the report on all 4 of them? I don't know. Or did he just get them on his daughter? Did the ME, medical examiner, tell him, your daughter took the brunt of this? I don't know. But if you watch his interview from a week or 2 ago, he basically says his daughter suffered the worst of the worst. Okay, but I believe that was around the time that I believe the police were rallying together to tell all officials, hey guys, we can't be telling this shit. We can't say who had the worst wounds, who had this, who had that. We can't do that. That might tip off our perp.
Well, that's the one reason why I think the police lied to us, lied to the public to throw him off, because everything they told us is wrong. Like, they said it happened between this time and this. No, it didn't. It happened after 4. Like, a lot, they twisted a lot of details.
Because they knew that Xana had gotten a DoorDash after 4, at like 4:12. So, I mean, they knew this. But why didn't the roommates hear the DoorDash?
What about the dog? They're saying, from what I remember, that the dog was barking on the cameras. That's how they found out the dog was barking. She didn't hear the dog barking? She didn't wonder why the dog kept barking?
I don't know that it was a constant, like Buka would bark or like Fluffer would bark, because my dog, Maggie, would not give out that protective kind of bark. Who's to say he didn't go in the room and mess with the dog a little bit, played with it a little bit, settled it down, and then committed the murders? You're talking about a dog that's introduced to hundreds of people. Very socialized.
Hold on. They said that the time of death was based on the coroner ME report, not based on the actual evidence.
Yeah, but the ME report got it wrong.
Yeah, they did.
You can't say that they died between 3 and 4 when you know that Xana got a DoorDash at 4 something.
Yeah, 4:15. And that's the other thing. 4:15 goes.
Time of death is never a spot on.
I agree.
It's never. You can't go by that all the time. It's just to give you a guess.
Yeah, but that's a pretty far off guess. That's an hour and a half.
Yeah, but an hour and a half, I don't think that, it'd be different if it was a day and a half. I'd be like, yeah, okay, that's pretty messed up. But I don't know. I just don't feel like that these 2 surviving roommates had anything to do with it. We can sit here and question why they didn't do this, why they did that, why they didn't do this, why they did that.
No, I don't believe Bethany did, but I do believe what's her name is somehow connected somewhere. I don't know the who, what, when, where, why, or hows, but maybe they would still be alive if she would have called 911 at the first sign. If I was their parents, I would be freaking out. You heard something and you didn't call 911. You heard something and you didn't call. You heard Kaylee saying I think someone's here.
And it says that someone looked out and didn't see anyone.
It doesn't matter. You still call 911. You always play it on the safe side.
People run in and out all night and day.
You still play it on the safe side. You don't risk something like that.
Nobody's going to want to be your roommate in college.
But because actually they would, because they'd still be fucking alive. She opened the door 4 times.
Slaughtered are few and far between. But Laura's going to pick up the phone every time she hears a strange noise, and we're going to have the cops up in our crib.
No, not a strange noise. If I heard, and I taught my kids, if you hear your friend, somebody say, like, call 911 crying, she did not even call Kaylee's phone to see if she was okay. Call your friend's phone. Is everything okay up there? If they don't answer, call fucking 911. It's not rocket science.
I don't know. I'm personally going to hold off on, I don't even have Bryan convicted yet. So I'm definitely going to hold off on the fact that Dylan had anything at all to do with this. I find it hard to believe that they could track Bryan down with as little as they had to go on.
Hold on one second. Simply E, I got news for you. That is the exact reason I don't watch her. Every single case, she's got a close source. She's got a family source, but she can't reveal who it is. I can't deal with people like that. That is tragedy pimping at its finest. I can't do it. That's why I don't watch her.
I'm just saying, let's take it, in my opinion, let's take it easy on these two. We have no idea what they're going through. If if Dylan was involved somehow or another, they're going to connect it. I felt it was a strange question for BRYAN to ask, has anybody else been arrested? But could he just have been doing that to throw the cops off? Who knows?
I don't know, but did you hear my theory about possible, like, he knows he's innocent because he set this all up and he just wants to see what the process is like, and the only way to do that is to actually go through it, but he actually gave someone his phone and his car and someone else did the killings, and that's why he knows he's going to be exonerated? Think about it. He's so obsessed.
Laura, he's not going to be exonerated. They found his DNA on a knife sheath.
Yes, but all right, maybe not exonerated, but found not guilty. All you need is one jury out of 12 that could say, you know what? Someone stole his car. Prove he didn't.
Someone stole his knife.
So maybe it wasn't his knife. Maybe he just bought the knife.
The guy that sold it to him did an interview.
Oh, okay. So the guy, where was that interview? Because I didn't see that.
I'll have to find it and send it to you.
All right, please do, because
the guy thought that he had driven all the way from Pennsylvania to get that knife, when in fact he just lived 15 miles away over in Pulliam, or whatever it's called, Pullman.
Well,
because he had Pennsylvania tags on his car. So the guy who sold him the knife, and it's supposed to be a kind of an oddball knife, like they're not readily available. Cobalt or whatever, Cobat. I don't know. I'll find where that guy talks about selling him the knife. Now, I don't know if it's the same knife that was used in the murders because we haven't found the murder weapon.
All right, hold on. During the processing of the crime scene, investigators found a latent shoe print, bloody shoe print. The detected shoe print showed a diamond-shaped pattern just outside the door of Dylan's bedroom.
Okay. Okay.
He was right outside.
Have you connected those shoes to BRYAN yet?
No, I'm saying that the killer was right outside of Dylan's room.
How do we know that's the killer's footprint? How do we know that doesn't belong to a first responder?
Yeah, that's true.
We haven't narrowed down. I mean, they got a call about somebody unresponsive. They go up there and they've got a quadruple murder. I got questions too, but I personally feel like because of what the Kylie Rodney case turned into, that, it's just like everybody thought Jack did it because he's a hunter, or
I knew that didn't happen.
This or that, this could ruin people's freaking lives.
I agree.
Trust me, if BRYAN didn't act alone, he's going to spill it.
Yeah, how did she not see the bloody shoe print from outside of her room? If the bloody shoe,
dark.
She didn't call 911. She opened the door 4 times.
It was dark.
So you don't even.
It's a frat house practically. Well, it is. I mean, it's full of a bunch of college kids, and that shoe print could look like a pile of dog shit. She could have been thinking, Boomer or whatever the dog's name was, shit outside my door, or it could have been a bra or a panty, or you're talking about 4 women that live together. Probably not the cleanest. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to go there yet. I mean, I've been so wrapped up in this case. I haven't been live, nothing.
Hold on, Verika, that was all bullshit. I don't know why people are still running with that. That never happened. That was a rumor that some troll started that can't seem to break. Nobody went screaming outside on the front lawn or passed out. That was all bullshit.
No, I never saw that in any kind of...
Oh, yeah, that's been all over the place. Yeah, no, not official documents. But it was all over the place.
I don't know. I can just say that if I was Dylan or Bethany or whatever her name is, that, I would be so freaking shell shocked right now that I just don't see it. I just don't. I don't. Even if you would want to come to the conclusion that he did it for Dylan, that wouldn't make Dylan
No,
guilty.
I don't think he did it for Dylan. I don't know. Bethany is not a factor.
Him at some point.
Bethany is not a factor because she hasn't been involved. Like, she hasn't said anything. She's not in the police report. But Dylan, yeah, no. After reading what I just...
Ethan was leaving to go back to his fraternity because it was against the rules to stay out all night. And that's where he was met with the killer.
That's not true at all.
What's not true?
That fraternity, you can't sleep out.
Well, I mean, somebody showed that particular fraternity's rules, house rules.
That they're never allowed to sleep out?
They can't be gone all night. No, they have to be home.
I never heard that.
And I believe he was probably leaving to get back to his frat house.
No, because he was killed in bed. He was killed in her room.
Right. They were probably both up, getting dressed. He was getting dressed. And she ends up in a hallway or a bathroom.
No, she was in her bedroom.
No, if you read the affidavit, one of them was found.
No, Ethan was found in the bedroom, as well as Xana. They were both found in the bedroom.
Well, the affidavit said one of them was found near the bathroom.
No, that was a rumor. That was a rumor. That's not in the affidavit. The affidavit said they were both in the bedroom.
All right, I'm going to have to go back and reread the affidavit because that's not how I read it. I read it that when the cops went in, the first thing they saw was a body. They hadn't entered anybody's bedroom at this point. And they saw a body, and it was Xana. Okay, pull up the affidavit, can you? Go down to where the cops enter the house.
On the north side of the building, Officer Smith directed me to the hallway to the west bedroom on the second floor, which I later learned through Xana's driver's license was Xana Kernnoodle's room. Just before this room, there was a bathroom door on the south wall of the hallway. As I approached the room, I could see a body later identified as Kernnoodle laying on the floor. Kernnoodle was deceased with wounds which appeared to have been caused by an edged weapon. Also in the room was a male later identified as Chapin. They were both in the room. They were just telling you where the bathroom door was, but they were both in the room.
See, when he says, as I approached the room, and he sees Xana, I picture Xana being either all the way out of the room or halfway out of the room.
Nope. They were both in the room. All he said was just before the room, he could see a bathroom door on the south wall of the hallway. As he approached the room, I could see a body, later identified.
Okay, why wouldn't he say, as I entered the room?
I don't know.
Okay, but we can sit here and question why this girl didn't do this or this guy didn't do this or whatever, but we can't question why a cop would use the wording, as I approached the room.
Maybe he's just trying to give a description of what is in his surroundings. And the surroundings, okay, I see a bathroom door to the right, and I walked into the room.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I'm going to jump. My phone's going dead, and I've been down so many rabbit holes now that I'm going to stop, and I'm going to let this unplay. Or, I mean, he's due back in court in a week.
Yeah.
So, but, I'm just not going to go with the roommate theory. I would have to have some sort of connection between him and her.
I agree.
And it's just not been made yet.
It just doesn't make sense. You kill 4 people, and like someone said, if it was light enough to see his eyebrows, but you can't see blood, come on. This guy's not covered in blood?
Okay, but this girl was interviewed. Okay, I'm just going to go on the fact that they're taking this from her very first interview,
where she is totally shell-shocked, and I'm wondering, have they interviewed her since?
Oh, I'm sure they've interviewed her a bunch of times.
Okay.
Then I'll wait for the courtroom for her to make her own statement, which she won't be allowed to. I mean, I'm sure she's going to lawyer up. They're all, anybody left over is going to lawyer up, just so they're not dragged through the mud. But who's to say that that she hasn't made several statements since then and has come down off of that, I don't want to call it euphoria, but come down off of that shock to say, you know what? I didn't see him until, and her story changed a little bit from, I don't understand the 9 hours between the call. I don't get that either. I would love to hear that explanation. I feel like maybe she heard the killer say, or she heard someone say, I'm here to help you. It's okay.
But she was on the same floor as Xana. She was on the second floor. The cop said you can see going in the bathroom. You could see what was going on. You could see her blood. You could see the two of them dead in their room. And she's on the same floor. You don't get up and pee in the morning. Just this whole story of hers is not right.
Well, I guess we'll see. I'm just going to hold my
opinion, but I'm jumping down. Enjoy your live.
Goodbye. Thanks for coming up. Why go hide in your bedroom? And Jen, that's what I've been saying. The fact that she didn't call 911 is the strangest thing I've ever seen. Security camera picked up noises and a thud, yes. And the dog barking. But that's the thing. You guys are going to hear. People are going to, because it's a lot of reading, people are going to mistake what they read, and more rumors are going to fly. Just watch. Yeah, so much blood leaked down the outside bedroom wall, but she didn't say anything. Okay. I know. I want to hear the 911 call too. 9 hours later, after he may be long gone, and your friends are dead. Makes sense. I don't know. Call me paranoid from growing up in New York City and Long Island, but if you hear something like that, you call 911. Plain and simple. Or you call your friend's phone and find out if they're okay. If they're not okay, they don't answer, then you call 911. Verika, what are you talking about? It is kind of sus. Now, what the motive is, but at the same time, I flip it around. What's his motive for not killing her? Why wouldn't he kill her? Was this all set up was this all a big setup? And 4chan was right, because they're right about the 19 minutes. Whoever wrote that was right about the 19 minutes, because that was approximately how long it took. So that poster of 4chan could have very well been him. That 4chan poster that explained it in detail could absolutely have been him, but using different names instead of naming himself. I don't know. So many possibilities. So many possibilities. Nothing is logical, Honey Badger. That's the problem. Oh, Patty, you don't know the 4chan thing? It's in one of my videos. Someone on 4chan, someone anonymous, wrote this whole long post of everything that happened and how it happened. And I would actually have to go back and listen to it again to see if they talked about walking past Dylan. Because if it does say that, then we know it was him. I'll have to go back and check. And they said that Dylan was involved, and that's why she didn't die. That she was part of it. But, I don't know, the 19 minutes, they said it took a whole 19 minutes from beginning to end. And they explained it in detail. They changed the names. So it makes me wonder if that was him writing it and just used different names. That's what I'm saying, criminal. Some of those victims may have survived. Oh, yes, it was Exit Screaming. It's on one of my videos. It's exactly what 4chan wrote. Yeah, he walked past her, didn't run. See, that amount of blood smells. Well, dead bodies would smell. I mean, I've never smelled blood like that, but yeah, when you die, you poop, you pee. That shit would smell. I don't know, something's way not right. He did this for his PhD. I don't think he cared if he was caught. I think he wanted to go to court, show his brains. See, Edward, I don't know. The part about him walking past her. Oh, it wasn't on 4chan. I don't know. That's why I said I have to go back and look and relook at it and see if that part was on there. See, but Edward, for his PhD, that's what makes me think that it's very possible she said he left out of the sliding glass door. But it really makes me wonder if he set this whole thing up. Within an hour, there's a smell depending on the temp outside. Okay. I think they have more evidence, but they aren't going to leak out. Maybe. Yeah, because they don't have to show evidence. They just have to show the order. Not according to what we know so far, Edward. Could that change? Maybe. But right now, as far as we know, no. He may have been concerned about Dylan's size. He wasn't worried about Ethan's size. Yeah, that's true. He was probably tired by then. You're right. Thought it said the roommate said he walked past her out the downstairs. I thought it was out the sliding glass door. You might be right, Crystal. I don't know. Well, it was the roommate's phone, but that was the next day. Kitty, that's what I'm saying. And if you saw him walk out, you know he's no longer a threat, so you don't go check. You don't call to your roommates? You don't call their phones? Something? Oh, so I was right. It was out the sliding door. Okay. Yeah, I knew. I didn't think it was front door. Out the sliding door. Short amount of time. 4 murders takes rage and beyond tired, I'm sure. Okay, so I was right. It was the sliding glass door. How did he get down from the sliding glass door, though? There's no stairs. I don't know. It's just weird. It's just very weird. The whole thing is weird. Fortunately, he said the downstairs situation was unknown to him. He didn't know if there could be other boyfriends there, and there had been a lot of noise already, so he needed to flee. No, I didn't 3-dot. I don't watch true crime. I don't watch Crime Circus. If I see a man inside my residence with a face stocking on and all black clothes, exactly, you're going to call 911. But that's what I'm saying. The second floor glass doors, there's no way down. There's no stairs. I don't know if he jumped or what. Oh, ground level, second floor back. I agree, Kitty. Left shit too, which is bizarre. Well, that may have been an accident. Do you think BK didn't hear her open, close, and... I thought the same thing, Busted. How did he not hear her open and close the door? And I knew he wouldn't get bail. He's a flight risk. No, I don't think he left it on purpose. I think he fucked up. Because think about it. If he hadn't have left it, he wouldn't have gotten caught. If that, assuming that's the only DNA they have, he wouldn't have gotten caught. I don't know, like, I think of my children. If I heard something that's fucked up, I may be scared. Well, then again, with your kids, you're going to go in anyway. But I may be scared, but the first thing I'm going to do is call 911. And then if it's my daughter's boyfriend sneaking in the window, I'll let the cops deal with that. But if I hear something, my initial thing, my phone is right next to me and I am calling 911. I'll deal with the details later. I'll deal with the boyfriend climbing through the window at a later date. Someone is here, can identify the killer, but doesn't call police for 10 hours. Drugs wouldn't have prevented her from all the above. I agree, Kitty. But my point is, I know it's mother's instinct, but if I heard something, I'm not going to go out there like a horror movie and say, what's going on? Is everyone okay? I'll do that after I have police here. You know what I mean? That's why police are there, to help you. That's what I'm saying, Amanda. She didn't even call them. She didn't even call to say, is everything okay up there? Her phone's not... Daniel, she's a kid. She's a teenager, though. I highly doubt her phone was not with her, kind of thing. I mean, I know my kids never not have their phone. Three times at that. 4 times. She opened it 4 times. Could she have been planted? It could be. From a court of law perspective, you know they're going to try it. If they bring in a Brady ruling, they're not getting out of it. It's crazy. Totally crazy. We know she didn't call. That's what I'm saying, criminal. Some rumors saying she was on shrooms or acid. Maybe. But there's no way to prove she was on shrooms or acid. Dylan has a pair of Vans. I don't see a killer wearing Vans. I don't know. I think I'd not think of calling 911. I hope to have a weapon. No, I would always call 911. Always. I mean, she'd call her friends in the morning and be like, hey, come over. I think all 4 of my roommates were murdered. If it had DNA on it, how could it be planted? Because the cops could have put DNA on it afterwards. Who knows? You don't see a hero that, then go to sleep. I agree. I remember, and then I'm going to get off because I've got to get back to candles. But I remember when I was young, not when I was young, when the kids were young, they always used to stay, that they were going to stay to see Santa. So one day, the twins were probably 4 or 5. And Phoenix came in. He's like, Mom, we heard Santa. He was wearing black. I was like, excuse me? It's like, we heard Santa last night. We saw him. He was wearing all black. So I look at Brad. I said, are they for real? He's like, no, that was me. And I said, oh. I was like, because guys, if you ever hear something, like, if you ever see someone in black, you call us or you call 911. You lift up that phone and call 911 if you can get to a phone. If not, come get us. If you can't find us, you call 911. Because I thought somebody broke in the house. When did they say they found his DNA on the victims in this affidavit? Yeah, that's true too, though. I don't think they have that much. I really don't. But we didn't think they knew who he was, and they did. So there's that. All right, but I'm going to get off now because I got to get back to candles, and I got to take Dayton shopping when he gets home, and I want to eat some lunch because I'm hungry. So I'll see you all later for Banfield tonight. Can't miss Banfield. Would they tell us everything? I don't know. I don't know what they're legally have to tell us, if anything. I'm not sure. But I will see you guys tonight for Banfield. I won't miss it this time. I guess it's 8 o'clock my time, so I'll be on around 7:30, assuming I'm home. So that's it. I will see you guys later. Peace.